Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Akil's Talk with the Heart Healthy Doc. We're in the Doc's Corner today, and he's going to be talking about active aging. If you don't know who this amazing doctor is, Dr. Akil Taher is a practicing medical doctor. He's an author, adventurer, and a very strong advocate for a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. He's a septuagenarian athlete who, after surviving open heart surgery, has educated thousands to understand a way out of chronic illness and heart disease that he believes everyone can do. And it's all about what you eat. That's the most important pillar of the six pillars of lifestyle medicine. He's open to connecting. So I encourage you to visit his website, keeltaher.com. And if you haven't already, make sure that you pick up a copy of his book, Open Heart, The Transformational Journey of a Doctor who, after bypass surgery at 61, ran marathons and climbed mountains. It's a real entertainer, and it's chock full of great information about how anyone can start or continue on a whole food, plant-based lifestyle journey. So, with that being said, Dr. Akil, I'm going to turn it over to you. Welcome and thank you again for all you do for this community and beyond.
Thank you, Len. What I
Absolutely.
am going to talk today is about active aging, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And a lot of people have asked me recently, yeah, but doc, you are very disciplined and you can do it, but we can't. No, folks, I'm not that disciplined. I am disciplined to an extent. But I have the same problems as some of you have. I have problems with nutrition at times. I have problems with sleep at times, stress. Sometimes I don't feel like exercising. So I am with you. I'm not telling you. I want us to have a discourse in which we all can participate, including myself. So, well, let's go ahead. Okay. Active aging is a new chapter, not a decline. Now, we may be living longer due to advancements in medical science, but are we really living healthier? So much so that the last 20 years of our lives are often miserable. As humans, we always pray for a long life, but are afraid of old age. You see, when I was younger, folks, I thought aging meant slowing down, stepping back, surrendering to your aches and pains and loneliness and forgetfulness. But now I see differently. Aging isn't a decline, it's a shift, a chance to rewrite the narrative. And the best part, we have more power over now than we had before. So, what if the second half of life could be even more vibrant than the first? If we really knew how to age actively and not passively. So, today, what I'm going to do is try to explore what it means to age actively by moving our bodies, eating right, sleeping, managing our stress, and nurturing our emotional health. Because active aging isn't just trying to avoid wrinkles and age spots, it's about staying engaged, purposeful, uh, positive thinking, being alive physically, mentally, and emotionally. Another factor is that active aging also helps you to be independent as long as possible. See, you want to be independent and not become a burden to the people around you as far as possible. So if you do the active aging, it may take time, but not, you can be independent so long. And another factor that is important is that as our children and grandchildren right now with the statistics, they're having problems at a younger age. We old folks may have to become caregivers. And if we have to be caregivers, we got to be healthy, both in body and mind. So therefore, I face this, and I have my the permission of my daughter to say this. She went through cancer of breast. I had to be a caregiver. And if I had not put myself, I was out of sorts for a while, but had I not been following the six principles of lifestyle medicine and doing what I preach, then it would have been very, very difficult for me. So, having said that, let's go on to the next slide. As you can see, these are the six pillars of medicine. You see, again, nutrition being extremely important, exercise, improving your sleep, managing your stress, avoiding risky substances, and having a robust relationships, social relationships. Now, what I would like to do is see, these are the six pillars, and think of the six pillars, they are interconnected. They help each other and they have to work in harmony to produce the best health outcome and to live a long, purposeful life. So let's go a little bit into each one of this. We all know what the whole food plant based diet is. Uh, Diet is the leading cause of chronic disease, disability, and death in the Western world. I keep telling this to people. To me, diet is more important, nutrition is more important than exercise. A whole food plant-based diet rich in fruits and veggies, whole grains, nuts and seeds, while avoiding processed foods, animal products, and added sugars, can significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases and helps you to live a productive long life. Even if you have undesirable genes, you can mitigate or negate these by epigenetics, changing the expression of your genes by healthy lifestyle changes. So, what do we do? We, first of all, I tell this to people, especially older people like I am. When you buy something, look at labels, and there can be one of these days I would like to just have a talk on labels because people don't read the labels right. If it is said that look at the saturated fat, and it's this look at the unsaturated fat, find out that the saturated fat is in one serving or is it in the whole package. Look at the salt content. Look at added sugars. Look at what it is in the ingredients. Can you pronounce those words? And so it is extremely important, as far as I'm concerned, the way we live in the modern age is buying things from outside. So you got to understand your labels. And as people said, half your plate should be fruits and veggies, quarter of it should be whole grains, and quarter of plant proteins. If you go and look at it today, that average American eats about 3.5 grams of salt. The American Heart Association says 2.3 grams of salt. I say no salt or less than 1 gram. The average American consumes more than 17 teaspoonfuls of added sugar each day, and 90% of this comes from processed foods. So, what do we have to understand? The diet related factors are high consumption of processed foods, coloring agents, preservatives, excessive saturated trans fats. What are trans fats? These are vegetable oils like your coconut oil or your palm oil that is solid at room temperatures. Refined carbohydrates and added sugars, low fiber intake, insufficient omega 3 food wise, low antioxidant and phytonutrients, consuming a lot of animal proteins, dairy consumption, low antioxidant and phytonutrients. I think we discussed that. Alcohol overconsumption, or I believe alcohol should not be taken, period. And then when you have, along with this lack of physical activities, poor sleep, smoking, vaping, environmental pollutants, then it becomes hazardous. So I wanted to figure this, most of you know, but this is where I want you to concentrate. This is in older adults, nutritional consideration in older adults. First of all, that comes to mind is hydration. Thirst centers don't work that well once you reach 65 and 70 years old. That means you don't get thirsty, so you got to have time and to drink your fluids. Mostly water, but hydrating fruits like your watermelon, celeries, your cucumber, so fruits and veggies. But you should make it a point. Now, each time I'm going to tell you something, I'm going to tell you also what I lack. I do not drink enough fluids. Now, my wife, on the other hand, has a lot of fluids. So I am now watching my fluid intake. So that is something that each one should understand. People who are 65, 70, 75, that you should be taking more fluid intake. Number two is fiber. Fiber is such an important thing. It helps you not only lowering your cholesterol, improving your gut bacteria, it prevents constipation and complications of constipation like anal fissures and diverticulitis. I had twice ruptured, and it is horrendous when you're put in the hospital for 15, 20 days. All this can be solved by increasing your fiber. Now, we have two types of fiber, but the fiber should be at least 38 grams. An average American takes 15 grams. I believe you should take 60, 70, 75, 80 grams of fiber. We have two fibers, soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. The soluble fiber dissolves in water. It forms a gel-like material in the stomach that slows down your digestion. It can help lowering your cholesterol and blood sugar and is found in oats and peas and beans and apples and bananas and avocados, carrots, barley, psyllium. And then you have the insoluble fiber. This supports the movement of material through the digestive system and adds bulk to the stool. And it does not dissolve in water. Both fibers are extremely important. Popular fiber supplements, if you cannot get enough fiber through your food, are your inulin and psyllium, metamucil, consul, methylcellulose, like the citrusyl. So please, number two is as you grow older, even younger people, as you grow older, increase your fiber. Third important thing for older people is protein. Oh, my muscle mass has decreased. I must go and get the protein powders. No, you don't need to get protein powder. As long as you're having enough plant-based proteins like legumes and beans, you do not need to get protein powders. What is muscle mass decrease due to? It is due to inactivity in your hormones. Your testosterone levels and all that decreases, and therefore you have muscle mass decreasing. What you need to do muscle strengthening exercises, your floor push-ups, your wall push-ups, your weights, these are far more important than your protein powders. Next important thing is calcium. I've heard so many patients of mine in the last 40 years of my practice. Oh, doc, I need something for my calcium. I need pills. I need tablets. I need some supplements. Folks, you don't need calcium. You don't need 1.2 grams and 1 gram, 1.5 grams and 1 grams of calcium. You require 600 to 700 milligrams of calcium. And you don't need to take dairy for this or supplements. You have enough calcium in your green leafy veggies, spinach, bok choy, collard greens, your almonds, your seeds, like your pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. So, what you need is vitamin D because vitamin D is important for absorption of the calcium that you take. Now, vitamin D declines with advancing age, no doubt about it. As I told someone else the other day, 60% of the nursing home patients were vitamin D deficient even before the COVID. Now, all you have to do is sensible sun exposure from 10 to 3 p.m. is sufficient. And if you've got a good backyard, try this. Go out in your backyard and just be with the sun for about 15, 20, 25 minutes, but go barefoot. It's a different feeling. Then what you have is and the sunshine vitamin through the vitamin D through the sun, it remains in the body longer. Now, what does vitamin D do? Vitamin D is so important. If people have not checked, go and get your vitamin D checked. It helps in your skeletal health. Absorption of calcium that we talked about prevents from you from getting severe COVID. A study has been done on that, and prevents you from getting certain cancers. But the sunlight that you get should not be to the window pane. It should be outside in the sun. So, having said that, lately I've come across a little bit of research that I did on magnesium. And if you tried diet and exercise in lowering your blood pressure, and then they'll put you on medication and still not going down, try and take magnesium. It lowers blood pressure and helps in bone and nerve function. Okay, so the next one which we will do is your vitamin B12. Now remember this, whether you are a vegetarian or vegan or not, please take your vitamin B12 as you grow older. Why? Because older people are on several medications, metformin and acid blockers and all that, and therefore vitamin B12 is not absorbed properly. So taking extra vitamin B12 would help. And finally, your fats. You do require fats. Your omega-3, where do you get it from? Nuts and seeds, well as in flax and chia seeds and all that. You can get enough of your fats. So the next important thing is physical activity in active aging. Remember this, although any amount of physical activity is better than none, it is important. If you can do that, Go a little bit, if you can, for purposeful activity. And if you're so fond of that, then you can go in for performance activity. Now, when you do general physical activity, what does it mean? It does not mean that you do walk in the park and then come home and lie on the couch. No, it means you're constantly moving around. And what does it do? It burns calories. It offsets the negative effects of sedentary lifestyle, increase your endorphins so you feel good, fights infections, and prevents you from getting stiff and rigid. But if you want, you can then get to purposeful exercise. Purposeful exercise when you want a targeted health outcome, as it should be a part of your physical activity. What does it do? Purposeful exercise reduces your blood pressure, your weight, improves your endothelial function, which produces nitric oxide, dilates your blood vessels, especially the coronary arteries, increases your good cholesterol, decreases your heart rate in the long run so that your heart has to function less and produce more, and then reduces the time for resting heart rate to normal after moderate intensity exercise. Check this out. The next time you're performing some sort of a purposeful exercise and your heart rate is going fast, and when you finish, just sit down and see how long it takes for your heart rate to come back to normal. If it is taking a long time, that means you're not fit. That should not take too long. Improves your insulin action with your purposeful exercise, with what you have in your body, the insulin, and definitely reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease and helps you with other chronic diseases also. I know what should you be doing. This is 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise 5 times a week, where your heart rate should reach 70% of your maximum heart rate. And if people want to, after this talk, know how to calculate it, I'll be very happy to do that. Now, what are the types of exercise, purposeful exercises? Your endurance exercise, biking, running, swimming, dancing, your strength ones, which we talked about to increase your muscle strength. Uh, I tell people carry your grocery bags, don't push the cart. Balance, you should be doing toes and heel walking, standing on one leg, uh, tying your shoelaces, standing up, and flexibility, stretching, and yoga. I think I just put my sun salutation video for older people on YouTube. So check it out. It's just for older people. If you got any young people who want to look at it, no, that's not for them. This is for people uh, in their 70s and late 60s. Okay. Uh, Next we go on to is competitive sport activity and active aging. Now, I don't mean to put this just because I am a septuagenarian athlete, but I believe that you can still involve in sports that has some sort of to compete, like fast walking, pickleball, ping pong, swimming. See, the catchword over here is when you compete, that becomes challenging, and that helps you to live a longer, fruitful life. What does TV ads say? That your youth reigns supreme, and after 70, you become weak and frail. If you think like this, you become frail and weak at a faster rate. People who have more positive view tend to live longer. What do psychologists call this? The youth primes, anything that makes you feel young. Active aging is social. B, loneliness. Be with people. Most athletes pick up the sport in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. They don't have to be athletes all their lives. I started at the age of 61. Before that, I had not even done 1 kilometer of walk, except when I was very young. So, and then what they found was they call this primes, and people exposed to these youth primes, older people, did a lot better on physiological measures like their vision improved, their grip strength improved, their memory improved. Since 1987, every October, 11,000 athletes aged 50 and over come from all over the world to compete in the Huntsman World Series games. They are of all sizes, shapes, heights, and weights. 35 different sports from running the pickleball, tennis, and softball, and other sports. In the summer, just think about it. In the Summer Olympics, you're roughly the same number participating. These are called the Huntsman World Series games. And then when you talk, what they found that when you compete into a sport, this is a study done by Dr. Becca of University of South Dakota, recent study. Your cardiovascular disease is significantly lower in senior athletes versus non-athletic seniors. Seniors who compete in cardiovascular sports are 7% less likely to get diabetes. For active seniors, there was less depression, anxiety, stress, and cognitive decline. Here's my hero, Olga Kotelko. At age 95, she held more than 30 masters track records and had won more than 750 gold medals in her age category. And she didn't even start until age 77. And this is fascinating. If people have the will, I think we can all get there. We don't have to do what she's doing, but at least some kind of sports to compete. Okay. Then comes your sleep. As I just talked about 2 days back on sleep, I talked to the plant-based nutrition support group. uh, Sleep is not the absence of wakefulness. Most people think when you're not awake, you're asleep. No, your brain is so very active, but it is an active state of rest where it has a deep impact on your immune system, your memory, and your learning. Most adults require 7 to 9 hours of nightly sleep, restorative sleep. Now, there are some people who can do it 5 or 6 hours, but they are extremely rare. Some of them can get away with 5 to 6, and some of them require longer than 9 hours. There are very few of those. And then your effects of sleeping less than 6 hours routinely on a regular basis can lead to increased risk of certain types of cancers, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, depression, anxiety, cancers. And then we go on to sleep influences various aspects of your life, learning and memory. See, we always knew that we need sleep after learning to essentially save those memories so that you don't forget. But you also need sleep before learning so that you can learn these new memories. There were studies done in which one group were made to sleep for 8 hours, and the other group no sleep, no coffee, no naps. And they found that there was a 40% decrease in the learning capacity for people who did not sleep. Learning, not remembering. Remembering, we all know that we need sleep after we study, but this is to study, to learn, you need sleep. And then you have the aging and dementia. As we get older, our learning and memory abilities fail, no doubt about it. Our sleep gets worse But these are not separate entities. Your deep sleep is directly related to your learning and memory. So if you can increase the deep sleep in older people, you can salvage the learning and the memory. This is a hope for the future because, again, studies were done in which the small electric activity was put into younger people, increasing the deep sleep, and the profound increase in their learning and memory was there. Now, sleep loss and cardiovascular, it takes only 1 hour of loss of sleep to cause catastrophic results. The global experiment performed in roughly 1.6 billion people across 70 countries twice a year, and it is called the daylight savings. I couldn't believe this when I read it. In spring, we lose 1 hour of time, and we see subsequently 24% increase in heart attacks the following day. In autumn, we gain an hour of sleep, and we see a 21% reduction in heart attacks. Then immune system. These are natural killer cell activity that fights cancer can drop by 40% if you're restricted for 4 hours of sleep, even one single night. Obesity, because there are two hormones, ghrelin and your hunger hormone and leptin. Lack of sleep increases your hunger hormone and reduces concentration of ghrelin and reduces the concentration of leptin. Also, your cortisone levels increase with lack of sleep. This is a recent study done in University of Chicago, where your sugars and your cortisone levels increase with lack of sleep. So how do you get sleep better? Go to bed only when you're sleepy. Don't go around trying to fall asleep in your bed. And if in 20 minutes you don't feel sleepy, get out of the bedroom, go and listen to music, read a book, do meditation, and come back. Only use bed to sleep and intimacy. No distractions at all. No computers. All are there with the blue light. So no phones, no computers, no TVs at all. And sleep and get up at the same time. What your internal body clock states, circadian rhythm. Don't try and think that on weekends, if I sleep a lot more, I'm going to make up for weekdays' loss. You're not. And keep the room cool, 65 degrees. Have a hot shower. Your body temperature goes down by about 2 to 3 degrees. This starts initiating sleep. Avoid your coffees and colas and chocolates and naps you can take. It's a very interesting thing what somebody had put on when I talked about sleep. Somebody, I think, asked me, what is the difference between a nap and going to sleep? You see, no, first of all, sleep. Sleep is divided into dream sleep and deep sleep. Deep sleep comes and then dream sleep. These are 90-minute cycles, which you have dream sleep as well as your deep sleep. Now, first half of the night, most of these 90-minute cycles are deep sleep. Extremely important for your building of your bones, your muscles, your immunity system, and also fat burning. And then you have your later half of the night, it's dream sleep. So when you get up in the morning, what happens? You had a dream and you got up. Now, this dream sleep and these 90-minute cycles are about 5 or 6 times during the night. But what is a nap? A nap is 10 minutes to 90 minutes. So if you are having a 10 minutes or 20 minutes of sleep and you are in the starting stage of sleep and you're about to fall asleep and your blood pressure goes down, your heart rate goes down, think about it when you're lying in bed. Oh, I'm feeling sleepy now. And after 15 minutes, somebody wakes you up, you feel refreshed. That's a nap. But if you go on longer for 45, 50 minutes and somebody wakes you up, now they've woken you up when you are going to deep sleep. Then you may not be very comfortable. Once your 90-minute sleeps are there, then again you're okay. So nap is like reading a chapter of a book, while sleep is reading the whole book. That is another thing. And another thing is posture. There are only two postures: lying on your back, and I wish I had the pictures over here to show you. Your spine should be straight. You can bend your knees and on your side and put a pillow in between your legs. These are the only two postures that are accepted for sleep. But I've had problems and I would use 20 postures during sleep. Exercise, when you get up, you should have complete lights on. As when you go to sleep, everything should be dark. When you get up, full. If you can get sunlight, nothing better than that. Avoid medications, uh, unwind. Have you ever seen what do you do with a little child when you want the little child to sleep? We all had this, our grandchildren or children. What did we do? We had them have a hot water shower or bath. Then we got them out. We put the PJs on. We took them to bed, tucked them in bed, read them a bedtime story, and off they went off to sleep. We should learn to unwind too, to prepare ourselves to sleep. After following these techniques that I'm talking about, suggestions, I have increased my sleep from 5.5 hours to now almost 7 hours. Before you embark on sleep aids and sleeping pills, please go through this cognitive behavioral therapies. It should help you a lot. Stress, chronic stress is what absolutely is in a difficult situation, worry. Everyone experiences stress to a certain degree, but how you handle stress is very important. It affects both the body and the mind. A little bit of stress, I believe, this is my personal belief, is good and helps to perform daily activities when you're sitting for an exam or you're going for an interview. Uh, but to most of the stress nowadays is due to the 4Ds. Either you are in debt, you owe money, divorce, disease as you get older or even younger, and death. And I personally believe that you should go in for meditation, yoga, breathing exercises, sky breathing, pranayama. I'm going to put my pranayama because a lot of people in the sleep talk that I did wanted me to put it. So I will do I've done a YouTube. No, I've got it videoed, but I'll put it on YouTube exactly what is sky breathing and how you should do it. That is far as managing stress. And finally, think about the blue zones. What was there? Why were they the healthiest and the longest living populations? You know the blue zones, right? One is in Loma Linda, California. What they did was they had strong social bonds that led to lower levels of stress and anxiety. They improved the heart health, improved the blood pressure. They had a balanced diet. They ate only when they were 80% full. They stopped eating. Avoid harmful habits because there's a support network encouraging or modeling such behaviors amongst themselves without being judgmental. So, with that having said, if you follow the six principles, six pillars of lifestyle medicine, then active aging is about staying strong in body, sharp in mind, and open in heart. It's about living every day with purpose and passion and positivity. It's never too late to start. Keep moving, keep learning, keep connecting. Let's not just add years to life, let's add life to years. And with this, I will end. And I once again want to say, when I talk about these talks, does not mean that I am there. No, I am a work in progress myself. Thank you so much.
Uh, Dr. Akil,
Yes,
you you touched on cognitive behavioral therapy, and I was just wondering, is there one that you would recommend? You know, if there was a YouTube or if there was a person to follow on CBT, what who would that be, and what is your recommendation?
you know, the cognitive behavioral therapy, Debbie, if you go over to my sleep talk,
Okay.
you will be able to get in detail the 14, 15 points of cognitive behavioral
Oh,
therapy.
excellent.
And that'll give you an idea about sleep aids and why not to take sleep aids, what is insomnia exactly, how you and what to do about it. So it says everything about in that sleep talk that I've done.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Not at all, Debbie. Unmute yourself, Francine.
I see. Hi, okay.
Unmute.
I'm sorry I'm late. I didn't realize this was the date. I just happened to stumble on the message just a little bit ago. So I dropped everything and I got some of it, but not a lot of it. So thank you for doing it.
Not at all. Pleasure, pleasure. And what does that sign behind on the wall say, Francine?
I don't know. Stephanie made that. I think I don't know. I have no idea. I can't remember. I think she told me it might be Unity or something. I can't remember, but she
Oh,
made
it's
some of these.
lovely.
Yeah,
It's lovely.
kind of cool. Yeah, yeah. So
Lynn,
this was basically on how to age well. Is that what you're saying?
yes, yes. And considering with the six pillars and how you can even be active competitively and if you can, or moving about and your nutrition and things like that. I wanted to cover things because I think most of us don't realize that we may have to be in situations when we may have to give care to people and be independent as long as we can.
Yes.
That is so important, you know. So I'm trying to talk about this so that we don't have to eventually become a burden.
Yeah, I agree. I try to do the things that will keep me healthy for as long as possible. And I have a metric kind of, I belong to a Methodist church and there's a women's group that's my age. And I'm about in the middle of the age group. And some of us don't come anymore because we can't get in and out of a car anymore, by ourselves.
Mm,
Some of us are on walkers. Um, a couple of us are using canes. And I'm really trying hard to avoid all that. I'm trying to stay as healthy as possible. I know eventually this is a losing battle. I get that. But I'm trying to do the things that I know to be true. And a lot of what you're saying, eating well and exercising and keeping your stress level down and getting enough sleep. These are all very important components. I've tried, Akil, to get people to come to listen to this. Their eyes just glaze over. They have no interest. I've tried to get them to go to the gym with me because a lot of us have silver sneakers, which means a free gym membership. I can't get them to do it. It's a really hard sell for a lot of people.
Right. I know we'll get there. We'll get there. It's slow, not maybe in my lifetime, but we have already started the process.
I hope
It's
so.
important.
I certainly hope so.
We have
anybody else have any questions?
Linda is there. Yes, Linda, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Debbie is there. Ross is there.
Hi guys.
Hi,
Hi,
Debbie.
Linda.
Oh, it's so
Hi.
nice to see you. Um, I just adore you. I mean, you're just so inspirational to me, because of what you've done physically, but also mentally too. And you're just such a supportive person and inspirational person. I can't thank you enough. It gives me hope. And um I I I still teach aerobics, but I have some issues now. For one thing, my aerobics room burned down,
Oh,
and
jeez.
it was an electrical issue. And now I just found out that I had to be moved to the basketball room, and the music didn't work, and the weights weren't there because they all burned up, and then there were no bands, and then it was like a nightmare. I might lose my class over it because nobody wants to come. There's no fans, and so it's so hot, nobody wants to be in there. And so the first day I did it, came back to the basketball gym, I had like 18 people. The second time I had 8 people. So I think I'm losing my class, which makes me sad. They can go to other gyms because there's a million gyms of my gym. I mean, there's a lot. So anyway, that's very sad to me. But and then I want to say that even though I have a physical disability on my right knee, I think it comes from over medicating me on thyroid medication when I had cancer 37 years ago. They, for some reason, I don't think they were monitoring me correctly because all of a sudden, about 35 years ago or 6 years ago, they decided to cut my medication in half. Nothing changed.
Mm.
And then when I looked up the medication, and maybe you can tell me, Dr. Akil, I looked up the medication and it said it's known for promoting osteoarthritis, which I have in my right knee now.
Me
And
too.
even though I have that, I can still jump. I can still run a little bit. And so I can teach my kickboxing and my step and my weight class, which is amazing to me because hardly anybody knows I have this, and they might not want to come to my class, but I fake it really well. And so anyway, I'm really mad at the medical system for doing that because something was very wrong. I mean, they had it double for
Mm.
36 years, and
Yeah.
now I'm half of that. So some
Mhm.
new doctor
Can you
came
tell the
at
difference?
it, I
Can
guess.
you tell the difference now that it's been cut in half as far as the rest of your life?
My thyroid is fine, cut in half. But the thing is, no, nothing changed because I already have. It was about a year ago, a little more than a year ago. The knee doctor said, "Okay, you're not going to be walking within a month.
Oh boy.
Mm.
We have to give you knee replacement right now."
Mm.
And I said, "Bye."
Get a second opinion,
I
yeah.
just kept, and it hasn't changed in over a year.
The reason is,
Still
Linda,
and I can still jump. I can do little baby jumping jacks. I can run a little bit, and I can do kickboxing because there's not a lot of running in there. But
wow,
I mean, there's stepping back and forth, but I can do that easily.
you are so active, Linda, and I am amazed at
Me too.
your vitality and your energy levels.
Oh, I
Amazing.
have a ton of energy because that's the food. You know, I eat so many potatoes. I mean, the potatoes keep my weight off too, and they're so filling.
Ross, do you have anything to say?
I just came back from a 3 mile walk, so I'm like kind of disheveled. But yeah, I'm all into anti-aging, anything.
It's true.
and
It's true.
and I'm blessed, you know. I mean, I think Linda knows, and you guys know, you know, Crohn's for over 50 years, and tests all normal. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I can eat, you know, the food I eat and the exercise I do. I worry more than anything about, you know, just decline because of aging. You know, I went to my eye doctor, and you know, it's like typical things like, you know, oh, he sees a little something in my eye, and I ask, what's that about? And he goes, well, aging. You know, it's like I hate when they, you know, it's like, yes, it's typical. You know, we do age, but somehow I'm very touchy about, you know, being told like everything's got to do with aging. So because I feel great, and I'm doing things, you know, today that I wasn't able to do even 20 years ago because, like Linda said, you know, because of the food. The
Mhm.
food, and my big focus now is meditation and concentrating, because I don't know if you heard Chuck Carroll's talk with
Yes.
Chef AJ? Okay, that really convinced me. I really believe in the gut brain. I always have. And I was kind of shocked when I watched that. But I believe like 100% now on my walks. I take breaks on my walks and I sit in the sun and I meditate. I make sure my skin is exposed to the sun for the vitamin
Excellent.
D. So, I can't do more than that, right? I mean,
Excellent.
Doing great. Yeah.
anyway,
Excellent. Well, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want
no,
to.
what were you going to say, Dr. Keel?
No, I was just wondering that Julie is also there. Julie, do you have any comments?
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to run, but thank you. Good to see
Thank you
you
so
all.
much for
Bye,
being here.
Roz.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye, Roz.
Bye.
Yeah. I for some reason I can't put my video back on, so just know that I'm here. I just wanted to let everybody know we don't have silver sneakers when we re-signed up. Just a second, it's telling me to start my video. Hang on a minute here. Okay, here I am.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
When we moved from Chicago over to Washington last month, we had to change Medicare. And it didn't have silver sneakers, but it had one of the other ones. And the YWCA, or excuse me, the YMCA that's right around the corner from us takes everything but silver sneakers. So what I wanted to say is if your Medicare doesn't take, a certain one, just keep looking because different gyms take different ones, they may take silver sneakers, they may not. So just wanted to point that out because, we no longer have the silver sneakers option and it worked out for the YMCA, which is around the corner. So yay!
Yeah, worked out. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, one of my gyms fired me, Snap Fitness, which I really liked. It's 24-hour gym. You could go anytime, holidays, the middle of the night. But they no longer take
Hi,
silver
Judy.
sneakers. So now I'm going to LA Fitness. I'm here in Atlanta. I'm going to LA Fitness. And, they're good. You just have to be careful that when they close and
Correct.
all that kind of thing
So,
that I never had to
Francine,
worry about.
you're in Atlanta?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
I live in what's called Briar Hills. It's across the street from Channel 5 off of Briarcliff Road. It's very close to Emory University.
Okay, near 85?
Yeah, not too far from 85. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I
'Cause
would
I'm in,
like Lynn to share her views on about today. What do you feel, Lynn?
I think that this was really great, and I appreciate making the strong connection between food and exercise and sleep. I think one of the things that we kind of don't focus on is the importance of sleep. And that really hit me. But the cognitive behavioral therapy is something else that was brought in that was really good. And, it made me think, who was it that, oh, maybe Roz talked about her walk and putting in her earphones. Do you see any in your research and stuff, any references to other technologies that might be coming along that we can use, like red light therapy, using red light therapy along with CBT and meditation? Is that something that we can really look at bringing in for the benefits that it might have, and not just to brain function, but to, things like osteoarthritis? You can do red light therapy to joints and different parts of the body. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Because see, what we as Americans have now, we want quick fixes. That's all we want. You got something wrong with your osteoarthritis, get a knee replaced. You got hip something problem, get a hip replaced. This is not so. Sometimes when you live with that kind of a problem is far better than getting something else done and getting into deeper problems.
Yes.
And it might motivate you to look into some other ideas like what you're
Correct.
saying.
Correct.
Good
Correct.
food, exercise, and all that. If
Yes.
you get it
Yes.
fixed, then maybe you don't have the pain there. You just keep on doing what you were doing that got you there in the first place.
Correct. And the blue light that we talk about is a big factor in not getting to sleep. So when you
Mm-hmm.
want to cut that blue light and you still want to look at your televisions or something, Don't do it in the bedroom. Go outside. Wear those goggles that can protect you from blue light. They cut off the blue light. And even when you're sleeping,
Sleep mask.
put the white noise or the green noise, whatever helps you with that, go ahead. Before embarking, I tell people that if suppose you want to go someplace where you're not familiar with and you're in a hotel room and you can't get sleep, that's okay if you have a pill for that particular 1 or 2 days. If you want to, if you can do without it, great. But if you want, but don't make it a habit. We doctors should be writing a prescription of sleep and not sleep aids. I mean, how many times have you been to a doctor and has asked you that how well do you sleep? Never. They will tell you, sleep a little more. But how? So my point is that and when we talk about insomnia, a lot of people have insomnia because of a problem. They have arthritis, they've got cancer, they've got things, the positions are different. So they cannot sleep because of this is not insomnia. Insomnia is truly when you take all these factors out and take all the factors of noise and blue light and all that, then you cannot sleep. It is basically due to anxiety and worry. And what I say is, we have this mantra in Hinduism where you can say a word again and again and again that lulls you to sleep. You see, mantra.
Yeah.
When you have a little kid in the forest in where did I Costa Rica, they put you in a swing. The movement helps the baby to sleep. So if you are in a, and sometimes I wonder because where I come from in India, they have when you enter the house, they have this big swing in the house.
Really?
You sit on the swing and most of the times I would be sitting over there and talking to people and fall asleep because the movement. And so the movement and the mantra, whatever it may be religious this thing or I sometimes take nush nush nick nick. That's my children, and I keep saying that, so that you do not allow the thoughts to come in, and you're concentrating on that, and you're breathing, and you lull yourself into sleep. These are all factors that we have to go on before we embark on things. Of course, there is a need for certain things, sure. I mean, don't wait when you need a kidney, you need a kidney. You can't help it.
Mm.
Liver transplants, but we have done fantastic things in medicine. But I am not talking about that. I'm talking about billions and billions of dollars spent on chronic diseases.
Yeah. With just pills or whatever.
Yes, yes.
Shame.
I mean, why would a doctor, because he doesn't have time, you have an ankle sprain, why would any doctor give an ankle sprain pain medication?
Yeah.
Period.
Mm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
At the most, you can go ahead and give an anti-inflammatory, at the most. Otherwise, Tylenol. Not even a Tylenol. Why? I mean, you can easily, that is how your pain sensations, your pain, this thing can work. Your body has those endorphins to fight that pain.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not giving it a chance. You are put on
Mm-hmm.
that for 2 weeks. When your ankle sprain is okay in a week, you're taking one more week. Now you're hooked. You go to
Mm.
the doctor is busy. Doc, it's still hurting. What can I do? Okay, take some more.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
We should,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, we should be seeing pain as a sort of a alert system. It's really on our side. It's trying to get our attention to tell us
Right.
that we need to do something different. And unfortunately, I think too many in the medical establishment only have two things: surgery and pills.
Yeah.
That's it. And they don't really, I mean, I just think there's so many other options. And I stumbled on a good one here since 2017. I started because I had to have cataract surgery and they told me I couldn't go to the gym. And I
Oh,
said, well, what
Linda.
can I do? They said, well, you can walk.
There she is.
So what I started doing was that's the beginning of what I call my PMWs, my prayer meditation walks. I'm fortunate enough to live in a neighborhood that's adjacent to a uh,
Park.
nature preserve. And I
Mm-hmm.
can walk any time of day. There's very little through traffic here. It's kind of an isolated, and I walk once in the morning and once in the evening. And I just find it so helpful. I use it to pray for people. I have a
Oh,
list of people in my phone that I pray for. I have a list of gratitude things in there that I add. And I do meditative listening. When I ask God for help on something, I tend to ask a prayer like this: help me see this situation from as many different perspectives as possible. Because my immediate go to is one interpretation, but there may be other ways to view this situation. And if you're not in a hurry and you meditate regularly, you will get answers. They'll either come from
Mm-hmm.
hunches,
Mm-hmm.
intuitions, other people. I find that I lead now a very low stress life. Of course, I'm retired, so that helps a lot.
Yeah.
I
that's
won't
Yeah.
very
deny
nice,
that. That's a
That's
big
Francine.
great.
piece of it. That's a big
That's
Very
piece.
nice,
great.
Francine. I love that.
I
Yeah.
love that
Do you have
too.
a question,
I wanted
Linda?
to say,
I love the PM. What did you say? PM
W.
W.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
only
I
think as
love
a
that.
doctor, I think of
Walk.
PMS.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a walk. I take a walk in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Well, if I,
David and
Do
Norma,
you
you
have
all are here. Can we have a David? Are you there? No.
While we're
Susan.
waiting on him, Linda had a question, I
Oh,
think.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Susan is also there. Susan, are you there? No. Okay.
I'm
so
here.
I have,
Oh,
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 somebody.
Hi.
Linda, you had your hand
you're
up
yeah,
and
yeah, Linda, go ahead.
you know, I have a doctor friend here who I told him about my knee replacement. The doctor wanted to do it right away. Said I wouldn't be able to walk within a month. And he said, Linda, did you know the number of deaths from knee surgery? He said, keep every part you can as long as you can. And people just automatically do whatever the doctor said. Okay, schedule it next week, have the or the hip replacement, whatever it is. People do not look at any other alternative. And I thought, oh my God, I have to have my knee done. And I was listening to V. Lynn doing it, and I thought, oh wow, I don't want to do that unless I have to, right?
Yeah.
So I think people just don't, they believe the doctor, they don't know how to think beyond the doctor. And it's a
Sometimes.
real problem here because, and the other thing I want to say is, what helps me sleep is two pit bulls in my bed.
To what?
Holy.
Two
Two
pit
pit
bulls in
bulls.
my bed with me.
Oh my God.
They make
Keep
me
me
feel
awake.
so calm. There's not room for anybody else, but anyway, I got two pit bulls, one
Wow.
under each arm, and I'm telling you, that's a sleep aid.
Really?
Yeah.
okay.
Certainly
I get the
unconventional, I'll say
comfort and the warmth and the every once in a while one will wake me up and kiss me. So
Oh,
that's a problem. But I recommend two big pit bulls if you can't
Great,
sleep.
great,
I
great,
love
great.
that.
Very
Absolutely,
unorthodox
absolutely,
prescription for sure.
absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So Susan,
Susan, do you want to
welcome.
say anything?
Susan.
Well, I'm eating my lunch. That was why I'm sort of not on.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Don't worry.
Boop, there's my lunch.
Wow.
Hmm.
No, I came in late, but I'm listening
Thank
because
you.
you're always interesting. I love listening to you
Thank you.
and always learning something. So I'll just listen while I eat.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I am so happy to see all of you,
Mm.
And once again, Linda and Julie and Francine and everybody, Susan, thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you. I would just like to make one request. If there's any way that you know today when the next talk is, if you could let us know, because
Yes.
sometimes I miss the date like I did today. I didn't realize we were meeting today. So,
So have
uh,
you been getting the emails? Dr. Akil has started a newsletter. Since we didn't want to bombard people with, this email just about this thing and this email just about this thing. Have you been getting the newsletter, which has all of his upcoming events in it?
I don't believe I have. Is there a place where I can sign up, or how do I do that?
Yes. Go to his website. I'll
Okay.
put the link in the chat.
Okay, thank you. That would help.
Mm-hmm.
Take
All
care,
right.
guys.
I'll look for
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
the link then. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Namaste,
bye.
y'all.